club football takes a break. Obviously, Bafana Bafana, our boys are in action this Friday against Sao Tome. So much has happened the past couple of weeks. Firstly, let's get into the squad selection. What have you made of Molefe Ntseki's squad?
Yeah, look, firstly, I think, he was unfortunate to get Bafana Bafana at this stage. It's no secret that players are not 100% fit. So, yeah, there's going to be injuries which jeopardize the squad. So, yeah, even in the last international week, there were a lot of injuries. Abo Frosler, even now we've seen players like Abo Frosler. You'd want to build a team around such players. So yeah, it's unfortunate that he's had to face so many injuries. Even look at our right back. Frosler was replaced by Utame Mkhize, who was also injured, and then to be replaced by Uri Khotso, who's not even playing. So that's the story of Bafana Bafana at the moment. But yeah, it's no excuses.
Do you think that, I know with obviously the AFCON happening next year and the FIFA tournaments that are coming up, you think we should have, or is there room for perhaps a postponement in the FIFA break, perhaps just to get everyone, fit and ready for the season, and then perhaps have a FIFA break, perhaps later, early in the year? Do you think it should happen now, or what's the story?
I think it shouldn't happen because if we are ever to play these,
especially with the travel and stuff, with the whole pandemic that's going on. Yeah.
But if we are to get used to this, we might as well start, because we still need to have World Cup, we still need to have Euros, AFCONs, Olympics, and all of that. So I really think international should really start. It is an unfortunate thing for the players. It's risky, but at this day and age, everything is risky today. So yeah, if we can play Champions Leagues and Europas and CAF Confederations and all of that, where you travel country to country, then surely we can play internationals.
100%. And obviously we did touch on Molefe Ntseki already. You said he came at a bad time or something like that.
Yeah.
David Natane, Otto Zwane, for me personally, those are names I would have mentioned for the Bafana Bafana job. Molefe Ntseki, you think he's the right man?
Well, look, I don't know Safa's budget, but I think it wouldn't have made sense to bring someone like Upitso Mosimane, who I think would be much more expensive. I'm not saying Molefe Ntseki is cheap, but Safa right now, they're in a building phase. So you want someone who's also going to come and try and adjust Gulama situations. We've saw with the kids and all of that, you can see that Safa is still in a rebuilding phase. So you want also someone who's still like up and coming to like also come up with the team. So yeah, I think Bafana Bafana were not in a stage to be getting like a high profile coach when they still like this. There's still a lot to be done, from the admin to the coaching and all of that. But yeah, players like names like about David Notwane are still up and coming, and they're still good names. So yeah, it was either Otto Zwane also, but yeah,
obviously you wouldn't reject Chiefs. That's an excellent opportunity, but
maybe you would.
You never know. Perhaps that offer wasn't even on the table, but obviously, big game on Friday against fairly minnow opposition. Sao Tome, what do you think is going to happen there?
Well, look, this game reminds me of the time we played Seychelles. Yeah. I think it was last year, where we were all buzzing and saying,
buzzing.
Yeah, we were expecting 5 or more, and eventually Bafana won 6-0. I think I'm still in the same position. I know Bafana haven't been as good as
they've always built us up to let us down.
Exactly. So there's still Bafana at the end of the day. They can pull a good performance and like beating, like a team like Egypt and all of that. Plus, too, we've still got some quality players on the field, like players like Abo Pesitao, Abo Notad. Those are guys that can really take on Sao Tome and beat them. But yeah, we have to like respect the opponent. Ghana only beat them 1-0, so there won't be any pushovers. But at home, playing it in a ground like Moses Mabhida or Nelson Mandela Bay, I think Bafana should be a banker in this game. I'd expect 4 more in this one.
Anything you want to see in particular? Obviously the likes of Vincent Pule have been called up late to the squad. Any players you want to see represent the national team, perhaps be given a chance against the likes of Sao Tome, who in all fairness aren't the greatest of opposition?
Yeah, look, when it comes to Bafana Bafana, everyone always tends to have an opinion.
Everyone's got their favourites.
Exactly. We've all got our favourites, and it's unfair to Molefe Ntseki to say, why don't you call this one? Why don't you call this one? So exactly, I'll support whoever's there. But what I want to see is that I want to see what he's doing. Like I want to see players behlangana, players playing a certain style of football, players playing playing at a brand, whatever it is. I mean, I don't care what it is, even if it is you like your Middendorp where you play road one, but I want to see what you do, yes, and see how the players are adapting to your identity and philosophy. Because in the last two friendlies, I really didn't see what was happening at Bafana Bafana. So I really it will be interesting to see in the next two fixtures on what system is he trying to play, what type of football is he trying to implement in this Bafana. But yeah, I'm not against anything, but whatever that works, then yeah, let's go for it.
Obviously, we are open to change our minds after the first game and until that second game, but that's what Banele thinks regarding Bafana Bafana. I'm definitely in agreement. Before we close, I think we have to touch on the situation at Gavin Hunt at Kaizer Chiefs. I mean, it's an international break, but there's something going wrong there.
Yeah, definitely, and we all know what's wrong. I mean, the team lost the league. I mean, in the last 45 minutes of the season. So obviously, the players were sown. They were like criticized a lot, and it did affect them. So generally, you'd need some psychological help. I mean, the confidence was down. New technical team, and I did mention this last week. You're not going to play Sundowns and Pirates every week. So yeah, Chiefs against Maritzburg, they showed some glimpses. Against Chippa United, they showed some glimpses. Against ETX Galaxy also. I mean, against the three teams that I've mentioned, they've only conceded one goal, so all is not lost. Losing to the top three from last season after being in a state like this, and they really strengthened. I mean, if you're going to sign Tlajwayo, Bafana captain, signing Ofori, Ghana captain, that's strengthening against people who can't even sign anyone. They low on confidence. I'm not making excuses, but even injuries like your Nukovic, your Zumas, key players are being injured. So at the moment, things are not well at Chiefs. There's a lot going on. It's injuries, be it transfer ban, be it the youngsters being given a chance. So there's a lot that's going on. And if you're playing a ready-made Pirates team and a Sundowns team, whom for me, they both running for the league, they're overwhelming favorites to win the league. I think Chiefs was obviously going to struggle against those two teams.
But is that the problem now? Do Chiefs have themselves to blame? After doing so well last season, missing out on the league title on the final day, is that now the demands for Gavin Hunt to perhaps win the league? Because we look at Middendorp and what he's done with more or less the same squad. They didn't sell any players, didn't buy any players. So perhaps the fans' frustration will be, this is the same squad that finished runners-up and took it to the final day. In fact, they led throughout the season. Is that the problem?
Yeah, but just if you look at the squad that was runners-up, let's look at the key players in that squad. I'll name Umatoho. How many games has he played this season? I think one. Exactly, just came back. George Maluleka was a key figure also in the Chiefs midfield. He is not there. He's left. Mtumsani Zuma always came in and changed the game. He hasn't played a minute. Samir Nukovic was a key player, scoring goals and assisting up front, giving the team focal point. He hasn't played also. Castro as well came in and scored goals. You can see he's being rushed. He's not 100% fit. So that's what's going on at Chiefs. And Numanyama, he hasn't looked himself. But yeah, Yenage is playing his 100% fit. But those are the problems at Kaizer Chiefs. Yes, the team that they're still the same team that finished second, but the spine of that team, most of the players haven't really getting involved. So yeah, let's give Hunt some time. I mean, with all the problems, you can't sign. You've got so many injuries. The team lost the league on the last 45 minutes after leading for so long. It wasn't going to be so easy after 6 weeks. You beating Pirates and Sundowns. It was never going to happen if we're being realistic.
From what I'm understanding, it almost seems like you're taking some of the blame, or most of the blame actually, away from Gavin Hunt. Do you think he's partly to blame? Because when I look at Chiefs from an outside looking in, they're struggling to score goals. I mean, the teams you mentioned, Maritzburg, TS Galaxy and Chippa United, they scored their own goal, which was obviously by Chippa United, and then 2 set pieces against Maritzburg.
Yeah, let's look at their goals from last season. Samir Nukovic scored most of their goals.
Is there an over-reliance on Nukovic?
It's I wouldn't say over-reliant because he scored most of the goals. He's not there. Castro scored. He was the second highest scorer from last season, and he hasn't been 100% fit this season. I mean, it's there for all to see. We can lie and say, but he's playing, but you can see he's not fit, And you can see a player like Umanyama also, he was there scoring goals. He hasn't been himself. So I think the main source of goals for Kaizer Chiefs, it's missing. It's not Uguti, Gavin Hunt, his style of play or whatever is the reason the team is not scoring. And Uzuma also was one of the players who created something for Chiefs, and he hasn't been involved. So that's been the problem. Parker didn't score any goal last season. You have to rely on him. Kambole only scored 1 goal, is another player you have to rely on. So you can't now not score in a 30-game season, especially in a scoring team like Murintop. I mean, Chiefs were the highest scoring team. You Parker, you Kamboli, you've only scored 1 goal between the two of them. Gavin Hunt comes in 6 weeks and we expect the same players to now score 5 goals. It's not going to happen.
Just to end it off, how much of the blame you think should be put on Gavin Hunt?
I think maybe
Very
10%.
little.
Yeah, very little. I mean, you can't come into a team that's low on confidence. They can't sign. That's having so many injuries. After 6 weeks, we expect you to beat league champions Mamelodi Sundowns, and we expect you to beat third place Orlando Pirates, who for me, I think they've got the best squad in the league.
I know we're going a bit longer than we should be, but I mean, you look at some of the players who's entering the final year of their contract, and now obviously Chiefs will be able to sign from next season.
Yeah.
How does that feel for a player coming into this team where, you know, everything looks like down and out? The coach after the games, he looks down and out. The players at the moment look down and out. Obviously, it's going to probably be 15 players out, 15 players in.
Yeah.
What does that mean for a new player coming in?
Yeah, look, I mean, that tells you that you're at a big club. There's a lot of expectations. It's not every day where you get a Samir Nukovic, where you come in and you just become an instant player of the season contender, and we're not going to be unrealistic and say we want players to be like that, but come in and show signs of what, you know, I want to play for Kaizer Chiefs, I want to be a player like this, you know. Like if you look at, for example, Man United, similar situation with the Kaizer Chiefs, where you were a big team, you were once a giant, now you're in a rebuilding phase. You get a player in like Bruno Fernandes, he comes in and you say, okay, this person deserves to captain the team. That's all we want. Show heart, show character, and then show that you want to be a big team player. You want to see the team reach those heights again.
I suppose from the players around him will obviously improve
Yeah,
with
definitely.
the big player coming in. But
plus 2 players like Abo Ngobo and Abo Blom, I'm expecting them to be much more matured come next season. So you can build a team around them as well next season with a few signings.
well, that's what Banele and I think. Remember to wish our boys all the best as they take on Sao Tome this Friday. Until next week.
Yeah, definitely.
Cheers.
5-0 Bafana.
For more soccer betting tips and previews, get the latest copy of Soccer Betting News for only 10 Rand at your nearest Hollywood Best branch or news agent.